कुञ्ज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौरानीताय जय गौरानीताय जय गौरानीताय जय गौरानीताय जय राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय प्रहलाद नरसिंहदेव जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. श्री श्री गौनिताय की, श्री श्री राधा वल्लभ भगवान की, श्री 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 जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमाणी की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class. So today we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Canto 8. So chapter is about incarnation of Lord in the form of fish, Matsya Avatara. And the verse that is picked up today, not picked up, it is actually coming in the order. So this is a verse that has to be done, it has to be discussed, such a nice verse. So this verse is about various incarnation of Lord in different forms and their glory. So very important verse again. So hearing this verse will help us achieve the ultimate success of our life. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the verse we are reading is verse 6 from chapter 24, of course, Canto 8. And again the title, Matsya, the Lord's fish incarnation. So let us read this verse word by word, and then we read the full. Ucha vacheshu bhuteshu charan vayu iva Ishvara na ucha vacharatvam bhajate bhajate dirgunatadvat diya gune. Ucha avacheshu bhuteshu, ucha avacheshu bhuteshu, charan vayur iveshvaraha, charan vayur iveshvaraha, nocha vachatvam bhajate, nocha vachatvam bhajate, nirgunatadvadiyo gune, nirgunatadvadiyo guneha, ucha vacheshu bhuteshu, charan vayur iveshvaraha, nocha vachatvaha bhajate, nirgunatadiyo guneha, ucha vacheshu bhuteshu, charan vayur iveshvaraha, nocha vachatvam bhajate, nirgunatadiyo guneha, ucha vacheshu bhuteshu, charan vayur iveshvaraha, nocha vachatvam bhajate, nirgunatva diyo gunaha. Uchavacheshu bhuteshu Uchavacheshu bhuteshu charan vayureshvara no chavachetvam bhajate nirgunatva diyo guneha. Charan vayureshvara Mataji's. Uchavacheshu bhuteshu Okay, we'll read translation word by word. Uchavacheshu, having higher or lower bodily forms. Bhuteshu, among the living entities. Charan, behaving. Vayu iha, exactly like the air. Ishvara, the Supreme Lord. Na, not. Uchavachatvam, the quality of higher or lower grades of life. Bhajate, accepts. Nirgunatvat, because of being transcendental, above all material qualities. Deya, generally. Guneha, by the modes of material nature. Translation, translated by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, like the air passing through the different types of atmosphere, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing sometimes as a human being and sometimes as a lower animal, is always transcendental, because he is above the material modes of nature. He is unaffected by the higher and lower forms. Purport: the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master of the material nature. My adhyakshena prakritiha suyate suchacharam. Therefore, being the supreme controller of the laws of nature, the Lord cannot be under their influence. An example given in this regard is that although the wind blows through many places, the air is not affected by the qualities of those places. Although the air sometimes carries the odor of a filthy place, the air has nothing to do with such a place. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, being all good and all auspicious, he is never affected by the material qualities like an ordinary living being. Purushaha prakritit satohi bunkete prakritijan gunan. From Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 21. When the living entity is in the material nature, he is affected by its qualities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is not affected. Disrespectfully, one who does not know this considers the Supreme Personality of Godhead an ordinary living entities. Avajanti mam mudaha param bhavam ajnantaha. Such a conclusion is reached by the unintelligent person. They are unaware of the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Om Ajnanatribindasya Jnananjala Salakaya Chaksurilmitamena Tasme Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapadaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamini Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachata Desatarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vanda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we have a beautiful verse. So before we go deeper into each of these words of this verse, so let us see the context in which this statement is made by Sukadeva Goswami. So if you go back to the previous chapter is about, of course, the pastimes of Lord Vamandev. So at the concluding statement, Sukadeva Goswami said that, this Hare Adbhuta Karmanaha, Hare, Supreme Lord appearance is Adbhuta Karmanaha. So Adbhuta, so anyone who hears, he says, Sravanam yati param gatim. So Lord's Adbhuta Karmanaha, Sravanam yati param gatim. So such a person who hears these wonderful activities and pastimes of Supreme Lord, he will achieve param gati. What is the param? Param is supreme gati, the destination. So he will achieve Vaikuntha Loka. So obviously this has created interest in Parikshit Maharaj, the hearer. So if you hear such a story, such a pastime, you will achieve the highest success in your life, either in material world or in the spiritual world. So this statement can make everyone curious. Oh, I want to hear more about more pastimes. So here Parikshit Maharaj has heard beautifully the pastime of appearance of Vamandev, Lord Vamandev. So this is on the cover of this canto itself, correct? Vamandev as a beautiful dwarf Brahmani appeared, and his pastimes is very nicely already discussed in previous chapters about how just by 3 steps he was able to cover entire universe. Actually 2 steps only. And the 3rd step, he has to put it on the head of Bali Maharaj on his request. Okay, so now, so later in the beginning, so now we moved on the new chapter. So that was almost last but one verse. So coming to this chapter, which is Matsya, the Lord Incarnation. So therefore, he is very curious. He again says, I heard about fish incarnation. And I heard about, that there's the first incarnation. Please tell me more about this Matsya Avatara. So even he repeats the same thing. Hare Adbhuta Karmanaha. I want to hear Adbhuta Karmana for this Matsya, Maya Matsya, Vidam Banam. So I would like to hear again this Matsya Rupa. So this was not explained in the previous cantos. So here Matsya Avatara is coming. And if you go through Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, almost from canto 1 to canto 7, and this is canto 6, and most of them are about various pastimes of Lord in connection with the devotees. So different devotee situation is different. So in order to please them, Paritranaya Sadhuna, Lord appeared in different forms. And so here is the first one. He is appearing in the form of aquatic. Previously he appeared in the form of Narasimhadev. He also appeared in the form of boar. So Vraja-ra, and then Narasimha Rupa, then of course Vaman Rupa in the form of human. And then now, so he want to hear about even lower. Oh, so Lord is appearing in human form, some little higher animal or lower, all this form, each one of them are very unique. And simply by hearing their Adbhuta karma, so we can achieve Paramgati. So therefore, this was the desire. So similarly, we should also develop those desires. Of course, Lord has innumerable avatars, and here is one of them. And today's verse, we discuss about those details. Then if you see starting with Ucha vachesu bhutesu charan vayur iveswaraha. The first, let us look at that Ishvara. So usually, if you simply search for Ishvara in some search engine on the internet like Google or whatever, you will often see lots of photos of Lord Shiva, especially Shiva, Ishvara. So you ask Ishvara, you go to South India, ask about Ishvara, God Ishvara. So all of them point generally to Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is the supreme controller? So Lord Shiva, actually each one of us are some kind of tiny controller with our little influence. Correct? So if you want to have a special Mahaprasada or special item that are made today for Saturday, or Prabhu there has some control. He is the one who makes, and if you are good friendship with him, he might give you in advance something. So little control is there within our sphere of influence. Correct? And then if you want some kind of medical knowledge, so among us right now, our Mahatma Prabhu has some influence because he has knowledge of that and he has done MBBS, he has that influence. Little control. But he may not be control of everything. So if I ask him to go and get the water immediately, he cannot get immediately. Correct? Due to situation or age, maybe 30 years ago he would have done it, but now he can't. Similarly ourselves. So having some knowledge, so we will be able to speak or hear nicely. The glory of Lord, for example, even Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So if you know well, so we can sing nicely. There is some kind of influence there. And of course, that son, that little boy there, so father has little influence on him. But the influence will decrease with time. When the baby, full influence, he can control and hold the baby and control where the baby moves around. But as this baby grows to boyhood, then youth, then of course teenage, and then finally maybe 20, 25, the influence will completely decrease. Correct? So he has full influence when to bring to the temple. But later he can't bring any more. When they become 25, he'll say, no, I am going with my girlfriend or boyfriend, anything can they say. Or I'm going to university, I got another party, you go wherever you want to go, temple program, but I'm having something else. I'm sure all of you experience. So we are all little Ishvaras. But here is Supreme Ishvara, Krishna. And who said that? Of course, we can start with the Supreme Person of this universe. Who is that? Lord Brahma. Then, of course, Lord Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita also. But, so hearing from Lord Brahma, so in his Brahma Samhita he says, Ishvara Parama Krishna. Ishvara, controller, the supreme controller, supreme Parama Ishvara is Krishna. So Ishvara Parama Krishna, and this Ishvara is Satchidananda Vigraha. So he doesn't have a misery like us. So, we have all kinds of miseries in this world. The misery is caused by our body, Adhyatmika. The misery is caused by other living entities, Adi Bhautika. And misery is caused by Devatas and other natural calamities. But whereas Supreme Lord is Satchid Ananda Vigraha. Sat, eternal, Chit, full of knowledge. Ananda, full of bliss. Full of bliss. So self, so he is fully satisfied. He may not need water. So suppose if I'm speaking and feeling thirsty, I need water to quench thirst. Whereas Supreme Lord, he is self-satisfied. So when we are doing bhoga offering, we do give to water to Supreme Lord. Of course, he is not depending on our water. So this is our own pleasure we are offering to Supreme Lord. So whereas for us, we need that. So Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. Vigraha means form. So he is not a formless. He has a form. Just like we have a form, so Krishna has a form. Even the water has a form. Correct? Air has a form. We don't see it, but we can experience through our senses. The light also has a form. Even the fan has form. All of them have a form. So Krishna also has a form. So Anadir Adir Govinda. So he is the, Adi Purusha. So his name is also called Govinda. And of course, he is the Sarva Karana Karanam. So he is the cause of all the causes. Even my ability to, lift this hand is coming from Krishna. If there is a disconnect between signal, my thoughts to the mind and action, it will not lift. And of course, your ability to hear, that hearing ability is also coming from Krishna. Correct? So that is why we say, Rishikena Sevanam. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. So all the senses should be engaged in the service of the master of the senses. If the master has given me, certain position, so it is my duty to use that position to serve that master. Correct? So if you are employed in any university or any workplace, what is your duty? Your duty is to serve that person who is employing you. Because once you serve, then he will give remuneration. Whereas in case of Lord Sri Krishna, so he is the master of our senses. He is the master of our body. Even this body is also a gift given to us by Krishna. So it is not ours. Correct? If it is ours, we will keep it permanently, eternally. Because this is like a rented house, when you are not able to pay rent, they will evict. Similarly, when the time comes up, we will be evicted from this body. That's what we call as a death. Correct? So therefore, everything belongs to him, sarva karana karanam. So such a person is Ishvara. So I hope this is clear now. Ishvaraha. So even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, so there also we hear about Ishvara. So there it says, Ekale Ishvara Krishna. Ekale. Ekale means one. And that one supreme is Krishna. Then it says, Ara Sabha Brata. And all others are actually his servants. Even if you see, go to Mayapur, you see Panchatattva. So there in the middle you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then left and right side you see Nityananda Prabhu. Then of course Advaita, Acharya. Then we see Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara. Then of course Srivasadi. You see all of them. What about they? Are they not supreme? Are they not supreme controllers? No. So here in Chaitanya Charitamrita it says, Ara Sabha. Sabha means Sarva Brata. So they all are actually servants or those who engage in service, devotional service of Lord Sri Krishna. So therefore Nityananda Prabhu and of course Advaita Prabhu, they are also in Vishnu Tattva. Still they are servitor God. They are not the supreme. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme because he is not different from Sri Krishna. So you can see everyone else apart from Krishna is serving somebody else, a servant. So he needs to be engaged in devotional service. So that is what it says. So that means Srivasadi, Gaura Bhaktavanda. So we all are Gaura Bhaktas, devotees of Krishna, devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore we are also actually servant. So little controls, but still servant. So servant also can control, correct, to master. If master is hungry, servant can delay, but little bit, not too much, otherwise he will be fired. Correct? So servant has to be very careful as well. So that is Ishvaraha. So now this Ishvaraha, so how does it appear? He is appearing in different forms and body, in human form, animal form, aquatic form. And that is what the first word says. Ucha Vashesu Bhutesu. Bhutesu. The living entities in the material world. Supreme Lord is in the spiritual world. So he appears among these Bhutesu, among the living entities in this material world. In what form? Ucha Avachesu. Ucha. So Ucha means sometime higher, sometime lower forms of body. So highest is a human form of body. Then little bit lower, maybe animal, even more lower, aquatics. So like this, he can appear in innumerable forms. So it is his will, his desire. So depending upon the situation and place, circumstances, and the devotee to whom he like to please. Accordingly, he can take those forms. So, Ucha Avachesu Bhutesu. So this is also, of course, even Brahma also says, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. Advaitam Achyutam. Achyutam, infallible. Supreme Lord, unlike us. So we can't, be fully dependent. Whereas Lord Sri Krishna is infallible. So if you have a full, belief and the full bhakti on Krishna, he will protect. So, Achyuta. Then of course, Anadi Anantarupam. So Anantarupam, he has got many incarnations, many forms. Even if you go to Vaikuntha Loka, Vaikuntha is full of so many planets, Vaikuntha planets. And each of the planets is a presiding deity in different forms. Of course, you come to here, so many living entities. Then the Lord appears also sometime in different forms, just for our, protecting us, to establish religious principles. So this absolute infallible Supreme Lord has many avatars. So usually we say he has a Leela avatara. So Leela avatara. So Lord takes various avatars, incarnation, to perform certain Leelas. So Leela avatar. And then of course there are many examples of Leela avatar. Matsya, that we are going to hear more about his Leela through this chapter, he is also Leela avatara. Then previously we heard about Vamandev. So this Vamandev so much, last 2-3 months, Vamandev appearance and his glories discussion going on. So Vamandev is also Leela avatara. So he has taken this incarnation to perform certain pastimes with whom? With Bali Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj was a great devotee of Lord. So therefore he wanted to glorify his position. So have loving exchanges. Even though he might have taken away all the belongings of Bali Maharaj, but the Bali Maharaj was experiencing so much of joy in giving. Correct? So if I am giving some little thing to a beggar, I feel so pride and great. Then if you are able to give it to some richest person on earth, Elon Musk right now, correct? The richest person on earth can change from time to time. Maybe right now this Elon Musk, but later somebody else, or maybe someone who is very highest, a powerful person with highest control in a country, like in Bharat Desh, in India. Maybe right now Modi may be highest control, but he cannot pass into the temple unless you allow him to go. So that we feel great, correct? So Modi can't even enter without my permission. Feel so good about it. But anyway, so here coming to Bali Maharaj, so Bali Maharaj is feeling so much of joy in giving, in offering all his procession. So because he is connecting Samma with Satchidananda, unlimited Ananda. When you connect yourself with unlimited Ananda, you also derive unlimited Ananda. So just like this mobile phone, the devices, when we connect to the wall socket, which is connected to the power grid, the power is coming. Then it can also derive as much as power necessary. So it's can working. So if that power is there and this power is also coming to the device, therefore device working. Similarly, Bali Maharaj, when he connected with the Supreme Lord, so he is also experiencing so much of joy. On the other hand, other people are very much anxiety. His guru, Śrīmad is also so much of anxiety. He says, here is this little Brahmana has appeared. And now he is saying that he is very happy with just 3 steps of land. Usually Brahmanas expect high remuneration. These days, if you don't give them sufficient remuneration, they may not perform your yajna properly. So you have to take care of them. You have to give them good remuneration. Whereas here is a Brahmana who is coming at the yajna sthala. So he says, I am very happy with just 3 steps. But Śrīmad realizes that this little Brahmana, dwarf Brahmana, is not a baby Brahmana or a boy Brahmana. He is actually Supreme Lord. Only Supreme Lord can be satisfied by just 3 steps of land. So Krishna says, I am very happy to accept Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. So if the devotee offered with the love, even if they offer me a leaf or a flower or one fruit or even drop of water, I am pleased. So who can be pleased? See, when we are very thirsty, if somebody gives you a drop of water, we are not pleased. We want them to give a glass of water. Not only that, preferably one jug also. Right? So that is our Prabhu who brought this. Usually they give here only a glass of water, but whenever he brings jug also. Some may be more thirsty while speaking, or maybe they didn't drink water. So therefore he can foresee what is needed. So he provided. So pleased. So similarly, so here a lot is also happening. So then that is Leela Avatara. Then coming to Shaktavesa Avatara. So Lord can also appear in in an empowered incarnation, especially empowered incarnation. So we have, of course, heard about various empowered incarnations in the previous cantos. For example, Prithu Maharaj. So his interaction with Indra and Rasabadev during during this COVID lockdown, we had that canto 5 or 6 where pastimes of Lord Rasabadev was discussed. So Leela discussed, and how at the end he renounced, then handed over, then went naked, Rasabadev. So we heard about all of those also. Then of course, Lord also appears in the form of Archa incarnation. So when we see a Vigraha, so it's not just a metal, not a wood. Jagannatha. So Jagannatha is usually made it this wood. He is not a wood. He is the Deva Jagannatha. He is the Lord of all the Lords. So he is the, Purushottama. So he is the Govinda, he is the Narayana, he is the Rishikesha. So that form, incarnation, he comes through Pranapatishta. All of you know. So whenever you bring a maybe metal deity, or a bronze deity, or a gold deity, or a silver deity, but the deity is just silver. But once you have Pranapatishta, he takes that incarnation. So we discussed in previous class about Pranapatishta. So Pranapatishta means invoking life into this idol. So that becomes a deity after that. So there is a very, very detailed process given in Vedas on how to invoke Lord into this form. So they invoke with very Vedic mantra each and every part of the body. The hair, head, nose, nostril, tongue, mouth, ear, this ear, leg, every part, initial, toes, finger, everything invoked. But each one of them have a very detailed mantra. You know that sometimes we say, through a mantra you can control. Through mantra and tantra you can control a person. You can control thoughts in the mind of a person. Sometimes some people with using mantra, they can produce gold in their hand. You have seen some yogis. Some yogis can produce vibhuti. You go and do the namaskar to that Maharaj. So someone with this Ashtasiddhi can pick up a vibhuti from far away and give it to you. Correct? So we, these are already, shown, those Ashtasiddhi. So those vibhutis and or those yogis also can form. So then coming to Archa Vigraha, and of course, so ultimately Krishna is the source of all these avatars. That's why we say Parama Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Supreme Krishna. So and usually in terms of avatars, when we hear in generally in the scriptures, so we see something like Dashavatara. Actually, Lord has innumerable avatars, unlimited. Not these 10 avatars, unlimited avatars. Even we are also tiny avatar of Lord. We are also unlimited, but tiny control. So Lord has so many avatars. So here in the beginning, also it was said about so different type of avatars. Vibhinna Amsha, and so other is of course Swayam Amsha, that is his personal expansion of the Lord. Others are Vibhinna Amsha, that is his expansion as living entities. So we are also expansions. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam it says, Supreme Person of God himself into Swamamsha, that is what we call Vishnu Tattvas. Then we are Jiva Tattvas. Correct? Of course, Lord Shiva in between, Shiva Tattva. So this incarnation, so just looking at the prominent incarnation, which we call 10 incarnation, Dashavatara. So in Dashavatara also, we see Lord appeared in lower forms and higher forms. So as this first word says, Ucha Visheshu. So Lord appears in lower forms and higher forms. So Ucha Visheshu, having higher or lower bodily forms. In Dasavatara, so starting with Matsya Rupa, fish incarnation, so the aquatic, lower form. Then after that, Matsya Kurma Avatara. So Kurma, tortoise Avatara. So little higher. Seems like tortoise is more smarter than fish. Correct? So tortoise can remember, 5,000 years old situation, whereas fish may not remember. So tortoise has a sharp memory. So tortoise, and it also has a full control on its senses. Whenever it sees a danger, it will quickly withdraw his legs, quickly withdraw his mouth. Then after that, even if you jump on tortoise, nothing will happen to it. It's so strong. But if the senses are outside, if you step on it, finished. The life finished. So Matsya Kurma, then Varaha Avatara, boar Avatara, so animal. Then of course half animal and half loin, half loin and half man. That is Narsimha Avatara. So these 4 avatars, generally the scriptures there, they happen during Satya Yuga. If you look at cow, cow has how many legs? 4 legs. So therefore in Satya Avatara, in Satya Yuga, in the Yuga of age of truth, so during that period, the cow, with 4 legs, all 4 legs are fully, like 4 dharmas were fully unfolded. So 4 avatars. So this is, Matsya Kurma, Varaha, then Narsimha Avatara. So then comes Vamana. So Matsya Kurma, and here is the Vamana Avatar, which was discussed already. Then of course, then Parasurama is also discussed in our other cantos. So then of course Lord Rama. So Lord Rama appears later. In other words, discussed about Lord Rama Avatara. So then we have Krishna Balaram. So then of course Buddha Dev, Lord Buddha appeared just in the beginning of Kali Yuga. So then in the future we will see Kalki. So these are the 10 avatars. So these avatars form, we can also see in the form of Shaligram Shilas. So every day you come to the temple, when you offer obeisance, in the middle, you will see many of these forms in the form of Shaligram. So there are 3 we don't see, but others we see. For example, Matsya. So whenever we obeisance there, the first left, the down, you see Matsya Avatara. So that is Matsya Shaligram Shila, DT, he is there. Actually there are 2 Shaligram Shilas which are Matsya there, Matsya. So Matsya, middle is Kurma. So therefore the second avatar also we take a darshan. So sometimes we may not see carefully, we might just see Gauranitai, Radha Vallabha, Jagannath Bala Subhadramaya. But we should also see slowly, stand and just take a darshan of Matsya, darshan of Kurma. So there is 2 avatars are there. So left side in the first small altar. Okay, so therefore, just having darshan of Supreme Lord, then after that you remember His name, you remember His form, remember His leelas, Nama, Rupa, Guna. So somehow if you remember, that means we are connecting with that Lord. So therefore, we are heading towards Paramagati, highest success of life. So there is Matsya and Kurma. Then the boar, where do we see? So we go the right side of small Krishna Radha deity. There is first is Ramachandra, the next is Varadev. Okay, so there is boar avatar we see. So then the next is Narsimha Avatara. So that Narsimha Avatara you can very easily see. I can also see here on the right side, just next in front of Radharani, there is Narsimha Avatara, Narsimha Dev is there. So usually on the day of Narsimha Chaturdashi, so we get to see more clearly Narsimha Dev because they are brought to the front for Abhishek, or you will be given an opportunity to offer flower to the Lord, so we can see much more clearly. Or if you want to touch that Lord, become a pujari. And if you want to have more pastime with that Lord, so you become a more higher pujari and perform abhishek of the Lord every day morning during Mangalarati, after Mangalarati, Brahmavata's time. So there are opportunities, depend upon desire. So we need to desire, then Lord will fulfill it. So that is why we say, man proposes, God disposes. You desire that I want to offer prayer, direct prayer, or I want to perform arti to Narasimhadev, or I want to do abhishekam. You desire, Lord will fulfill. So it depends upon how strong our desire is. He will make a way. He will create a process for you to do that. Okay? So that is Narasimhadev. Then come to next Vamana. So Lord Vamandev, because he is able to win the whole universe and all that Bali Maharaj has processed, owned by 3 steps. Therefore we call him Trivikrama, another name. Trivikrama. Just by 3 steps he is able to win everything. And that is the name given to Varadev here. So on the right side, just in front of Krishna, you will see a Trivikrama. And this Trivikrama is called presiding deity of Melbourne temple. Everywhere there will be some president. Correct? You go to any sabha, any place, there is one head. So here in the temple also, although we got various deities, but one of the deity has to be appointed as a head, president. So just like we have so many devotees coming to this temple, we call one person as the president of this temple. Even though we have got so many living entities in this Victoria, people are there, animals are there, beasts are there, birds are there, everybody is there. But among them there is one person whom you elect every 3 years as premier or chief minister like that we can. Even this Australia, there are so many living are there, kangaroos are there, koalas are there, snakes are there, birds are there, so many unique animals are there. Then people are there, aborigines are there, but among them there is one prime minister. Similarly in the temple also. So we have got Trivikrama is the presiding deity of this Melbourne temple. So therefore it is very important for us to take his darshan. Correct? If you go to some place, we all want to see the head of that place. Correct? If I go to Parliament of India, I want to go and meet Modi, not the cleaner, not somebody else. Of course you have to see that person also. Without him you can't pass next. But still our destination is to have a handshake with Modi. Even the Brahmadev, Lord Brahma, sometime he goes to the Vaikuntha Loka. So there also he desired to see Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu was very pleased. And there he gives a handshake. In the previous verses, Brahmadev says, "Oh Lord, you are so kind. When I appeared at your abode, you came and hugged me and you gave me handshake." You see, this handshake is not an invention from Western country. This is already there. Lord Vishnu also gives you handshake. Sometime, of course, we go and do obeisance. Obeisance, we give it. Suppose if I am in a lower state, lower position, and the other person in the higher position, we give obeisance. Like we have Guru Maharaj or some great teacher, we pay obeisance. When you come inside, for Prabhupada, we give obeisance. But if you are equal, a peer level, what do? You don't, generally, you go and you hug or give handshake. Correct? Equal. So therefore, Brahma is saying that, "Oh Lord, you are so kind, even though I am your servant in one material world, and then when I visit you and you are giving me handshake just like peers, you treated me as a friend." Handshaking is possible. You give only to a friend. Correct? So this is important. So that is Lord. So that is Trivikrama. Then Parsuram. Okay, we don't have Parsuram Saligram deity there, but Parsuram is not there, but Parsuram. So then Lord Rama. Lord Rama is there. Where is he? So just next to Radharani, small deity, he is the Rama. Lord Rama. Sri Rama Varaha. So first when the Rama is there. So then of course Krishna and Balaram is there in everywhere. Correct? So Krishna is there everywhere. So then Buddha there is not here. But in some of the temple, so they do put Buddha. Even here in the Bhagavad Gita you will see the photo of Dasavatara. You see Lord Buddha. Then finally Kalki. We don't have Kalki, Shaligram, but except these 3, so all the Shaligram Sila representation is there of this from Dasavatara. Okay? So it is important to know ourselves, what do we have in the Melbourne temple? And what is their glory? Adbhuta karmanya. So wonderful activity they have done. So little remembrance is important. And the form they have taken is also important. So if you see this Dasavatara Srota from Gita Govinda, so by Jayadev Goswami, so he beautifully sings glory of each of those. And every day, for example, for Nrsimhadev, when we do Nrsimha prayer, we also do. Tavakara Kamalavare. So there we also say, Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagadish Hare. O Lord, Supreme Lord, you are so kind. You assume the form of half lion, half man. For what? To give pleasure to Prahlad Maharaj. Because Prahlad Maharaj was so much remembering Supreme Lord, he was so much of devoted, however, his father was not happy about this. And father says, hey, we are belong to Daita Kula, and you are bringing infamy to our family by remembering another Kula. Why can't you remember me? Instead of remembering Lord Vishnu. So therefore he tortured him and gave a lot of trouble, and when he was about to kill him, at that time Lord has appeared to protect his devotee, Prahlad. So that is why we are saying, Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare. So that is in remembering, so that is how the Lord has taken that form, half lion and half human. Why? To also fulfill the boon given by Lord Brahma. So therefore he is simultaneously satisfying all the devotees. Because Brahma is a devotee of Supreme Lord. So his word also has to be upheld. Then of course at the same time protect Prahlad also. So that is why he has taken that form. So you can see, so Lord can take any of this form. Actually all these forms, these innumerable incarnations are already there in Vaikuntha Loka. Please do not assume that Krishna just takes care, puts a mask at the time to perform that Leela. No. So all these forms are already there in Vaikuntha Loka. So each one of them, there is a Buddha Loka in a Vaikuntha Loka. There is Narsimha Loka. So every incarnation that we can see, innumerable incarnations, they all have their planet, their presiding deity. So when situation occurs, at that time, Krishna can send, okay, Nrsimhadev, please go and take care of this situation. Depend upon the situation. Sometime he comes, Swam Bhagavan. So Krishna, sometime he comes, very rarely, but he comes himself, personally. Otherwise, his incarnation come, they can do the job. So like that, Meena Avatara. So again, Keshavadrita, Meena Sharira, Jai Jagadish Hare. So the glorifying that form. So here Meena. So why this fish avatara Lord has taken? So here in this, the rest of the chapter we'll see. So the starting, he said that this fish avatara, Meena avatara, Matsya avatara has happened twice. So the one we are reviewing here is to give pleasure to Satyavartamani, but earlier also happened. When Brahma was about to go sleep, at that time there was one demon. His name happens to be Hayagreva. So he stole their Vedas and run away. So Lord has to take that form, Meena, to rescue the Vedas. Otherwise knowledge will be lost. So rescue. But here to give pleasure to Satyavartamani. You can hear more later. Then of course Kurma. Kurma avatar also we heard during churning up ocean. So the churning up ocean was also discussed, very nicely in previous canto. So Samudra Manthan. So during churning of ocean, so what happened? The devatas and demons are doing churning of ocean. So there they brought this Mount Mandara, to which they tied this Vasuki, then churning. But this Mount Mandara started sinking into the ocean. So milk ocean, what to do? At that time, Lord himself again take this kurma form and lifted it. Correct? If this is sinking into the water, so Lord took this kurma form and withheld in this position so that they can continue churning up that ocean. You can see, so Lord is taking so many forms, depending on their situation. If the situation best is Kurma, the tortoise, because the tortoise body is very, very strong. That's why I said, even if you put a big, even if the lorry, buses go on this Kurma, that on tortoise, nothing happens. As long as the senses are inside. Outside means finished. So that is why that Kurma can take sense inside. So only this form is suitable at that situation. So to help both Devata and Devatas in churning ocean to get this Amrita. Okay. So then Sukara Rupa. So Lord has taken this boar avatar. So why? So he has taken to lift the earth. Hiranyaksha, the brother of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha, took this Bhudevi and so therefore he has to fight and lift that earth in rightful place. So that is why, so we say Sukara Rupa. So then Vamana Rupa. Vamana Rupa we know so nicely. So he is simply just by asking 3 steps of land, so he is able to acquire everything from Bali Maharaj. So therefore we also say Keshavadrita Vamana Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare. So simply by saying Jai Keshavadrita Vamana Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare, so we are glorifying the Supreme Lord. So slowly we can know more about that also. Then of course Bhrugavati Rupa. So Bhrugavati Rupa, so that is as Parsuram. So when he appeared at that time, all these Kshatriyas, warriors and kings, they have become irreligious. So therefore he wanted to kill all of them. So he was the one who is able to wield his weapon, axe, so easily to cut off the head of all the powerful kings, irreligious kings, so wicked kings on the planet. So then, so Lord Rama appeared for what? Of course, he performed a lot of pastimes, but again he also able to conquer this Rakshasa Ravana, because Ravana is giving so much of trouble to all the Devatas and everybody, and women also. He didn't even leave goddess Sita Devi as well. So he was giving so much trouble. So the situation was created, therefore he has to be annihilated. So then of course Lord Krishna and Balaram appeared. So Krishna has of course killed so many demons, and of course also Balaram also subdued so many wicked demons. So that's the pastime. At the same time they also give pleasure to various other devotees. Then of course at the beginning of Kali Yuga, so Lord Buddha has appeared, because at the beginning of Kali Yuga people were using Vedas and just using section of a Veda. They were performing so much of impious or ahimsa, himsa on all the animals. So therefore to stop that, so Lord Buddha has appeared. So very compassionate to all the living entities. So all the living beings, not just humans. So humans somehow they make rule themselves and protect each other. But whereas they don't care about all the other living beings. Animals slaughtering in the name of Vedas. Even the Brahmanas are slaughtering in the name of Vedas and eating the meat. They say, oh yes, it's written in Veda. And they become expert in following that section of Veda. So at that time, Lord appeared in the form of Buddha to rescue this situation. Then of course, as time progresses, this Kali Yuga is becoming more and more danger. You see, every day is something danger. So 3 years ago or 4 years ago, there was no war between Russia and that Ukraine. But now there is so much of war. At least earlier they were fighting with sword, person to person. But now no such thing. Guided missiles. So they can pinpoint the missile and hit the target. So, so many houses are collapsed, buildings are collapsed, people are died, millions and millions of people are dying. And then if they continue like this, they will spoil the whole earth. Correct? Inhabitable. It can't be easily, it will become a place of no living. So danger. So that is why it was said, some research is made. On earthly planet you have got so many forms of life. According to the Gita and the scriptures, 8,400,000 forms, types of living entities. Even if one of them, let us say ant form disappears from the face of earth, there will be a lot of disturbance in the ecosystem of this earth. Even if small ant disappears, so much of disturbance will happen. But if human disappears, what will happen? Nothing will happen. The earthly planet will flourish. It will become a heavenly heaven again. So much of greenery, so much of clean air, clean water, everything clean. The whole ecosystem will also flourish. You can see human living being, it is very danger. So all the deterioration is happening because of humans. But other living beings, they are just happy with whatever nature gives to them. They don't invent a mobile phone, they don't invent a nuclear weapon. Correct? Even if they fight among themselves, the ants also sometimes fight. Even the snakes sometimes fight. The frogs fight. Horse fight. Cows fight. Right? I hope you have seen all of this. Even the buffaloes fight among themselves. Or sometimes buffalo with another cow they may fight. All kinds of fights are going on. But just individual little fight and finished. But whereas humans use their intelligence to create weapon of mass destruction. One weapon is enough to destroy. Only this human is doing that, the defense. So therefore they are misusing the whole brain instead of using it for other purpose. So this is Kalki Avatara will come, will take care of those. Anyway, this Lord will do. So what can we do? We can remember the Lord. So now the next, Charan Vayur. What is this Charan Vayur? So this Lord is actually appearing, behaving just like air. Vayur Iha, exactly like air. When we have this air, wind is blowing everywhere in different places. When it is blowing in the garden with full of aromatic flower, if you happen to be other side, you will smell aromatic smell. Correct? So wind is blowing everywhere. So it will blowing through forests, it will blowing through rivers, it will blowing through lakes, it will blowing on ocean, blowing on the garden, blowing in the forest, everywhere it is blowing. But wind remains a wind. Of course, sometimes it may blow on the filthy place, so therefore you may feel smell, but as it blows, later that will disappear. So similarly, Supreme Lord may be taking forms like Matsya, or Varaha, boar, or Kurma, tortoise, or half-man, or human form, any form he may be taking, but he remains one, he is still the Supreme. So don't assume that, this God, some people are simply praying to the fish, or even to praying to the boar. We may think, this is a filthy, but actually he is not that. He taken that form for accomplish certain goal, and that's all. So therefore, this analogy is given. So that is why in the translation, Prabhupada says, like the air passing through different types of atmosphere. The different places, different atmosphere. Similarly, Lord is also taking forms, sometimes lower, sometimes higher. So that is Charan Vayu. So then the next third one is Nocha avachatvam bhajate. So Nocha, that is no, not. Ucha avachatvam, that he may have a lower quality, a higher quality. Bhajate, he may accept those, just like air, while in the doing movement, it may accept, but actually remains as a air. Similarly, Lord also. But however, this Lord is completely transcendental. So this Lord performs so many adbhuta karmanaha. So who can perform this adbhuta? So in this, as a tortoise, he is able to lift the entire mountain and support churning of ocean. As a boar, he is able to lift the earth and bring it its rightful place. As Matsya, so he is able to rescue the Vedas. Not only that, in this chapter to Satyavarta Muni, so he is able to, when the pralaya is happening, so at that time he is able to carry the boat. So and also give him a knowledge of Sankhya philosophy from the heart. So all this adbhuta karma, who can perform? Only Lord can perform in any form that he likes or he takes. So each one of them are supreme. So next, the last one. we are coming to the last one. Nirgunatad dhyo gunaha. So Nirgunatvat. So this Nirgunatvat means, so because he is transcendental, so he is able to perform this Adbhuta Karma because he is transcendental. He is behind these worldly qualities. So, so this is very important and to look into. So these gunas. Then finally, Diyo gunas. So Diyo means generally that gunas. What are those gunas? So in the material world, we talk about, in the modes of material nature. The nature of this material world is all the living beings are in three modes. That is Sattva gun, Rajagun and Tamagun. Sattva, mode of goodness. Rajo, mode of passion. Tamo, mode of ignorance. So we can be either in one of these three gunas or mix of these gunas. Correct? You see some persons, they are very good in some situation but very ignoring in other situation. So there is a mix of these gunas. So this is not like, so this is very much like, color. So, if you see in this computer, you can see many colors. Correct? But actually basic color are RGB, red, green and blue. They are the basic color. By appropriate mix of those RGB, you can make so many colors. Usually you go to these Bunnings, you say, I want this color. They tell you what color you want. Okay, you want white. They will create a white by having appropriate mix of RGB. You say, I want pink. Again, by appropriate mix of RGB. So similarly here we say, this computer can give 1 million color. But actually there are only 3. So, those of you from computer science background, so this red, green and blue, each code is represented by, 8 bits. 8 bits. 8 bits. So you can have this 8. That is 24 raised to, exponentially. So many colors, millions of colors you can create by their combination. Okay? So here, this Tamo-gunas, or Rajo-guna, or Sattva-guna, so these are there. So these are only applicable to living beings here, the conditioned living beings. So anyone is under or subjected to 3 gunas, they are called conditioned living entities. And one who is behind this, they are a liberated persons. That's the only difference. The living beings can be conditioned, Nitya Baddha or Nitya Siddha. So we are still a living beings today, and in the future also we will be living beings, but we may take different forms. So if you happen, so in the human form, so you can be a Nitya Baddha, conditioned eternally, or you liberated eternally, Nitya Siddha. So the choice is ours. So here Supreme Lord is above the 3 gunas. He is transcendental. That is why he says, Guni, Nirgunat Advat. So he doesn't have a gunas of this material world. Sometimes we say Nirguna Brahman. Those who are Mayavadi or those Jnanis, sometimes, so they connect with the Brahman as a Nirguna Brahman. Yes, he doesn't have a guna of this material world, but he has got transcendental qualities. Okay, the guna that we know, he doesn't have those gunas, but he's a guna, transcendental. Nirgunat Advat Diyo Gunehe. So this material, so that only jivas have got it. But jivas can also become nirguna, liberated. How? By hearing glories of Supreme Lord. This is what we sang about. Adbhuta Karmana of Supreme Lord. So this way we can get a Param Gati. To be able to get Param Gati only is possible if you liberated. So in this form, with this modes of material nature, so we won't be able to go to Vaikuntha Loka. Even if you use the best vehicle for going, so you can't. So only when we are liberated, so beyond these 3 gunas, purify, then only we can go there. So this is where, so when these jivas are us, when we become the divine consciousness, so for example, that's what we call God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. So at that time, so we will be able to achieve those liberation. So even in this form, in this body, just here only. So that is why they are very happy. The persons who are in Krishna consciousness, so whom we can call them as Brahma Bhuta. So they are in the state of Brahma Bhuta. And these Brahma Bhuta persons are Prasannatma. They're happy. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. So, and such person is Na Sochati, Na Kangsati. So they don't, lament for anything. Nor they desire. Even if they desire, it will be transcendental. No material desire. No material lamentation. So the Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Na Sochati Na Kangsati. Sama Sarvesu Bhutesu. Bhutesu also is coming here. Bhutesu, living entities. Sama Sarvesu. For all of them they see equally. A person in Krishna consciousness, a person in Brahma Bhuta stage, so he sees all the living entities equally. Why? He is able to see because he knows that we are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna himself also says, Mama Amse Jiva Lokya Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. So all these living entities are eternally part and parcel of me. So Krishna also says, I am Bija Pradaha. So he is the one who is actually. So therefore, everybody are sons or daughters of Krishna. So therefore, so he is also sons or daughters of Krishna. Therefore, he sees them equally. Sama Sarvesu Bhutesu. So in such form, Mad Bhaktim Lavate Param. So he achieves that transcendental. So bhakti, when the person is in such devotion, so he can see all of those. So that is why hearing Krishna Katha, Sravanam, and also speaking about it, Kirtanam, then remembering about it. So performing some seva, so that we can make our consciousness divine. Very, very important. So when our consciousness is divine, obviously we will be happy, Prasannatma. And we can see everybody equally. You don't say, oh, here is my enemy, here is my friend. No such distinction. You see everybody equally. So such a persons are called Mahabhagavas. So we say, so this is Bhagavatam, the book Bhagavatam. Correct? And person can also be a Bhagavata, Mahabhagavat, person Bhagavat. And because he understood these teachings of Lord, he understood his position, he understood who the Supreme is. Therefore, so he is engaged in the devotion. So therefore he can see everybody equally. Sama Sarvesu Bhutesu. And who are those everybody? Of course, Krishna also in Karma Yoga, he talks very nicely about, who are equally. So for example, they can be Brahmana. So he says, so Vidya Vinaya Sampanni, Brahmani Gavi Hastini. Brahmana, learn Brahmana or Gavi, elephant or Sunichaiva, dog and Sapagacha, dog eater. Whoever they may be, whether may be lower animal like a dog or a dog eater or an elephant or even the Brahmana. So he sees all of them equally. Pandita Samadarshaniya. Such a Pandita, such a sage, such a devoted person, he can see Samadarshaniya. Pandita, so Samadarshaniya. So that level is possible only when we become this God consciousness. So these are the benefits of hearing Lord Glory. So you not only achieve Param Bhagati, but you'll also become friend of everybody. Because you see everybody equally. Automatically everybody will treat you as a friend. So therefore for such a person there is no one is enemy. Even sometime we hear in the scriptures and all, some animals are known to be very ferocious. But when they see such a divine person, they don't do anything. So this Lord Buddha is a Gunavatara, so Shaktivasa Avatara. So when Lord Buddha saw a person like Angulimala, you heard about Angulimala? Angulimala was a person in forest. So what does he do? His karma, his activity was, he simply cuts fingers of people who were passing through the forest and makes a mala like this and puts Angulimala. This Angulimala, everybody was frightened to go through that forest. Nobody will go. If you go through this Angulimala, will catch and then cut off your fingers and make a mala and put it. But once Lord Buddha went there. Lord Buddha went there. So Angulimala, got surprised. Who is this person coming so happily and coming as if I'm his friend? Doesn't he know that I am Angulimala? How people run away if they see me? But still Lord Buddha came. So this person surprised and he fell at his feet. He treated So this Lord is treating me, this person is treating me just like I am his close friend. So he fasts at feet. So sama sarvesu bhutesu, that quality we will only get if you develop this true devotion, the true bhakti, and our consciousness become divine. Not only performing devotional activity, but our consciousness has to become divine. It is not just enough to perform a puja. It is not just enough to maybe read scriptures, but those teachings should come into our life. When they come into our life, then only our consciousness become divine. So that divinity, that's why we say, usually, if you go to universities, sometimes they talk about school of divinity. So they will have a department of divinity. So achieving the divinity is possible by simply hearing this katha. So there are a number of people, just simply by hearing they become purer. Purer like a water. Initially impurer. But simply by hearing, their mind becomes stable. When the water becomes stable, the impurity will go down. Correct? You go to this Albert Park Lake, you disturb the water. All the dust, dirt and all will come up. But when it is in a still condition for 3 hours, 4 hours, peacefully, then it becomes pure water. Similarly, our mind is disturbed all the time due to wants of this and this, unlimited desires. So, but when we hear this Krishna Katha, then we see all these our material desires are actually insignificant. So what is most significant in our life is achieving the highest goal of life, making our consciousness divine. So then we will be happy. We realize that, we are becoming more happy, even though we may be not acquiring a lot of money or a lot of property, but we are becoming happy. So, and they are of course very happy and then humble. So that is all important. Okay, so with this I think we covered each and every word of this verse. I hope it is clear. So starting with Ishvara who is the Supreme Controller, then we talk about so more detail about Uchavesu Bhutesu. So Uchavesu, higher forms, lower form Lord takes among the living entities, Bhutesu. Then the analogy is given, Charan Vayur analogy, just like a air which will pass through a different atmosphere but not affected. Similarly, Lord may take different forms, lower form, higher form, but He is transcendental. So that is Nirgunatadvad. And then of course material quality, the gunas doesn't affect to Him. So then Nocha Avachatam Bhajante. So although so he appearing, accepting bhajante, accepting those forms, but he is not accepting their quality. Correct? So just because he has appeared in a boar form doesn't mean that he is accepting boar quality. You know boar quality. What is the boar quality? Always searching for very stool, very this, very that, and having sensual enjoyment. That's all. But whereas Supreme Lord is not accepting those quality. He just took that form to perform certain leela. Of course, Prabhupada is concluding that these things are not known to Mudas. So the Supreme Lord activities cannot be understood by those Ajnanatas. That's why he's saying that a conclusion is reached by unintelligent person, because they are unaware of transcendental qualities of the Lord. Because they think, Lord has appeared in this form, therefore he must be having those qualities. But only those who knows transcendental qualities of the Lord, they can accept. Others will simply, consider them as ordinary living beings, and other people who are hearing their glories are accepting them as a Supreme Lord, or they're thinking, these people don't have mind. But actually, the real intelligent person is the one who knows the transcendental qualities. So that is the conclusion. So he is reached by Prabhupada. So just to conclude again, so Lord avatars in different forms are transcendental, whatever may be the form. So they are not affected by material qualities like us. Usually we project our consciousness into others. Correct? So if we make our consciousness divine, then we can see whenever Lord takes those forms, and they are transcendental forms to perform transcendental activities. Okay? So, and hearing those translate activities, we achieve Param Gati. Hare Krishna. Grantara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. So, Prabhu, you have any comment and question for us? Happy? Alright, so this is perfect 8:55. So, kindly enjoy Mahaprasada, prasadam that is offered. Hare Krishna. Thank you.